Alright guys, we're Royal Rossler here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Money in the Bank 2016, and I just want to open by saying, you finally pushed him, WWE. And that's all I'm going to start with. I've got a lot of emotions now, and damn. Anyway, let's get into the pay-per-view. So on the pre-show we started off with Breezango against the Golden Truth. This was a pointless match. The storyline is really kind of boring, and it's just not something I'm into. Breezango came out after being scarred by a tanning booth, I guess. Even though it looked horrible. It was basically, you could tell they weren't really sunburned, and I know they're not, but come on, it needs to look a little bit more realistic. It looked very child's play, kind of literally like a child's play, so something you'd see your 6-year-old daughter or son's play. In the end, the Golden Truth won, which was not my prediction. I thought Breezango would just beat them again. Somebody said that they should be called Febreze. That's such a better name, although I doubt they could get licensing for that. But Breezango is just such a done name. Febreze is brilliant. That's such a good name, and that took about 4 seconds for someone to make up, I imagine. But anyway, Golden Truth win, final cut on Fandango. One prediction down. And then the other match on the pre-show was the Dudleys against the Lucha Dragons. I gave the first match 1 3/4 stars. Second match on the pre-show, the Dudleys versus the Lucha Dragons. This was fine, I gave it 2 stars. In the end, the Salida del Sol and the Dragon Bomb for the win for the Lucha Dragons. It's another prediction I got wrong, and that's not great. Moving on to the main show, and we start off with the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team title match between the New Day, Enzo and Cass, the Vaudevillains, and the Club, Anderson and Gallows. I thought this was great. I felt like this was going to be one of the best matches on the card, and it turned out to be exactly that. Very fast-paced. Every team got their spots in. You saw at least a single finisher from every team. You had the Magic Killer, you had the Whirling Dervish. At one point, you had Air Enzo. So at points, every team looked like they could win, which was really nice because it made the division look very strong. But in the end, the Magic Killer on Aiden English, which got broken up by Big E, and then it kind of seemed like someone was out of place because the ending was kind of sloppy, and that's kind of the only bit of the match I didn't like, that sloppy kind of ending. Gallows is sent over the ropes by Cass, and in the end they do the Midnight Hour on, I believe, Carl Anderson, and then Kofi Kingston pins Aiden English for the win. The New Day retain the belts. I gave it 3 3/4 stars. I could have gone 4 if it wasn't a sloppy ending, but really good match, really good way to start off the show. One of the best Fatal 4 tags I've actually seen in quite a while. Moving on, we have Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler. Now, I do want to give them some credit. Although I've seen this match way too much, this is the one they put the most effort into, and they really did try in this match to get the crowd involved, but the crowd just weren't having it. They didn't like Ziggler, and I'm losing a lot of faith in Dolph Ziggler, to be honest. His matches are all the same. No matter how long they are, he'll do the same spots, he'll rush them, and in one really awful Dolph Ziggler moment, he went to do the running splash over the steps, but he tripped on the steps, but Baron Corbin actually caught him, gave him a deep 6 on the floor. Now, Dolph Ziggler is the veteran there. Dolph Ziggler should not be messing up and having to be covered for by the rookie and Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin, the footballer, the one who gets the bad name, Dolph Ziggler is here, screwing up and nearly getting caught. If it wasn't for Baron Corbin, that could have been a really bad and botchy-looking spot, but Corbin just saved it, and they played it off really well as Dolph Ziggler actually tripped, which was a very smart spot, by the way. Just if you didn't know, that was an actual trip. That was not meant to happen. In the end, Ziggler, I think, he got caught on the top ropes, and then Corbin hit an end of days for the win. I thought this was a good match. I think this is the best match they've had, so I gave it 3 stars. I don't need to see it again ever. I've seen it 4 times now. That's it. Well, 5 times, actually. Then we had Dana and Charlotte against Becky and Natalya. Okay, so this match obviously had some time cut. I believe the beginning segment of the show with the New Day and Enzo and Cass and all the tag teams was a little bit long, so this match was definitely cut. But these women cannot cut matches. This match was, in my opinion, awful. It was really poorly put together. And in the end, I give it 1 3/4 stars. This is the worst women's match I've seen on pay-per-view in quite some time. There was just no flow. The timing from everyone was pretty bad. The timing from Dana Brooke, I always bash Dana Brooke, I'm really sorry, but Her timing was bad for pretty much everything. Becky Lynch's timing wasn't great for a few spots. Charlotte's timing wasn't great for a few spots. But in the end, Dana Brooke sends Becky Lynch into Natalya and then pins Natalya, and then Charlotte pins Natalya with natural selection. They barely played up the Dana Brooke-Charlotte tenacity thing there, so what a pointless tag match. It lasted 6 minutes, and this is what the women's division are now doing. The crowd were chanting, "We want Sasha." No one was into it, basically. It was filler. And 1 3/4 stars. I got my prediction right, though. Dana and Charlotte with the win. That put my predictions at 2 and 3. I picked Dana and Charlotte because I just wanted to see, then we had Sheamus against Cruz, and this is the last of the filler matches, really. I thought this was a decent matchup. I think Cruz and Sheamus worked quite well together. The big spot at the end is Sheamus doing the white noise off the top rope. The middle rope. I actually felt like that would be the finish, which would have been a really good finish. But Apollo Crews kicked out, and then Sheamus was arguing with the ref, and Apollo Crews just crucifixed him for the win. Really good finish. I really like the finish. Overall, I think I'm going to bump the grade up from what I've actually put here. 2 3/4 stars. I thought it was a decent match. Good way for Apollo Crews to get a big win over a former WWE World Heavyweight Champion in Sheamus. So, no real qualms there. And I believe from here, basically, this show, the first hour and a half, and if you count the pre-show, 2 hour and a half, there's just not much real quality outside of the big tag. From this moment on, this show is one of the best shows ever. Not one of the best shows ever. One of the best shows of the year. This was touted as one of the best, the greatest Money in the Bank pay-per-view of all time. If you watch the last hour and a half of this show, then it probably is. I know there's some people in Chicago who would probably disagree, but there was a big moment on this show. Oh, man. Anyway, Cena versus AJ Styles. This match was freaking great. We all knew it would be. The well-told story here was that Cena tried everything to get Styles down and it just didn't work. So he went to throw Styles into the steps and Styles just jumped to the steps. Cena tried to do loads of takedowns and Styles just showed how quick he was. Styles was so arrogant and so good as a heel in this match. Every time Cena went to strike him, Styles just ducked it or something like that, Cena went for it. Basically, it was so good because Cena did the shoulder block and Styles would dodge the second one. And then Cena would get the second one and Styles would block the Proto Bomb. And then when Cena went for 5-knuckle shuffle, Styles would eventually block that. So it told a very good story of Cena finally getting his big moves in on Styles because Styles knew Cena. He's known Cena obviously for 15 years as the man in WWE, but also Cena kind of knew a little bit of Styles as well, so it helped out there. The match was also great because it didn't go all finisher heavy. There was 1 AA and 1 Styles Clash. And when I saw the Styles Clash hit, nobody thought Cena was not going to kick out. Cena's kicked out of every move in the book. He's not going to kick out of a Styles. He's going to kick out of a Styles Clash. But in the end, I'd say the ending is the only thing that really pulled my grading down. In the end, Cena goes for a second AA. And by the way, the first AA Cena hits, I think, was really impressive. Because Styles did the calf kill at one point and injured the thigh of Cena, which I thought was a really good spot. So when Cena's going for the AA, he can't get his leg fully up. And Styles is elbowing him and it's really helping. But in the end, Cena just powers up his leg and gives him the AA. I thought that was a really good spot. In the end, Cena goes for a second AA. Styles inadvertently knocks out the ref. Cena gets the AA, covers Styles. There's an obvious 1, 2, 3. Gallows and Anderson rush out, hit a magic killer on John Cena, put AJ Styles on top. The referee gets back in. 1, 2, 3. I don't like the finish because I felt like they should have just gone clean. Because they really should have just gone clean here and saved this finish for another pay-per-view. But it's still good because it gives an obvious rematch, which we can have at Battleground, which looks to be a pretty good card. From looking at this pay-per-view, Battleground looks to be pretty good if we're getting a Cena rematch. But this was a great match, and this was exactly what you thought it would be. 4 1/4 stars, great match. Wasn't the best match on the show, though. Moving on after that, we had the 6-man Money in the Bank ladder match. Cesaro, Kevin Owens, Alberto Del Rio, Chris Jericho, Dean Ambrose, and Sami Zayn. Everyone got their spots in here. This was a great story, as well it was just an amazing spot fest. So you had a lot of ladders being used, you had probably the sickest spot, and I don't know if people are going to look at this as much, but Owens, a ladder was laid sideways on the mat, so it was open sideways like that, and Owens was planted with a Michinoku driver on the point of the ladder, and he just lied there. And this is a guy that's had spinal injuries. Wow, just an awesome spot. Loved it to death. Some other great spots, you had all the falling off the ladders, and Ambrose gave Jericho a dirty deeds off the ladder. Owens powerbombed Zayn on a ladder, which was a great spot. This was just awesome. This was a really awesome Money in the Bank, and this is one of the best Money in the Banks I've ever seen. The quality of the participants, it really should have been one of the best Money in the Banks I've ever seen. But awesome, awesome stuff. And in the end, it came down to the two that we all knew it would. Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens on the ladder. In the end, Ambrose knocking Kevin Owens off the ladder. He falls onto a bridging ladder. Dean Ambrose retrieves the briefcase. Predictions correct. That put me 4-3 in my predictions. Nice. Dean Ambrose, that was a big knockout moment. I was there like, come on, Dean Ambrose, yes. Ambrose is finally getting that main event push. He's finally going to be a WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And great moment. But the match, awesome. 4.5 stars, my match of the night. And great stuff. One of the best Money in the Banks I've ever seen. After that, we had the US title match. I'd say this is the only time in that last hour and a half I was bored. Titus O'Neil and Rusev, and this was a fine match. I gave it 2 stars in the end. Rusev won with the accolade. I mean, I'm very happy Rusev won. Put me predictions at 5-3. But maybe they could have just given the belt to Titus O'Neil. Maybe because it was Father's Day and he does so much work for WWE, and I don't really mind too much. Rusev 5-3. My predictions 2 stars. It was a fine match. There was very little to say about it. Rusev though at one point was doing some good heel stuff where he goes out of the ring and talks to like Titus O'Neil's family. He's just like, that's your dad and your dad's a loser. That was a really good spot. So main event time, and we have got Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, the big Shield match, without Dean Ambrose obviously. And this was great. This was Seth Rollins back, and he was back at his best, although he went a little bit fast at times. This match told a very good story, and I think people need to look at that, because at points in this match, I thought they were going for a double face heel turn, because Roman was being very heel, and I loved that. He was going up to Seth saying, are you sure you're ready? So is this all you've got? Stuff like that. And Rollins is just trying to get to his feet, and Rollins is getting it up, and he does the STO into the turnbuckle, and he does some topes and stuff, and the kicks and stuff, and it was Seth Rollins was becoming a babyface in this match, and Roman was starting to turn into a heel. I mean, I doubt they're going to go through with it, but they really should, because they really did that very well in this matchup. And in the end, the referee got knocked into the corner by Rollins at one point. Rollins, which was a really good spot, and I think people need to look at this as being a good spot. Rollins was going for the sunset flip powerbomb, which, as we know, injured him, and he was on the top rope, and he was looking for it, and he was hesitant. And they pointed this out, and I think this was a very good piece of commentary. They said that was the move that injured Seth Rollins, and it cost him, because I think he got caught in a Samoan drop or something. But eventually, he went over it and did the turnbuckle powerbomb, which was a really good spot. And then did the super kick and got a nice 2 count. Reigns did the schoolboy powerbomb and got a great 2 count. He did the Razor's Edge powerbomb, which is always a great move to see. He hit a spear on Rollins, which Rollins kicked out of because the referee was knocked out. Reigns went for a second spear, which Rollins countered into a pedigree. Now, some people think this was wacky. I think this was brilliant. I think that was such a cool move. He does it about right, because he grabs the arms. Rollins jumps. Reigns' head's just between his legs. Slams into the mat. 1, 2, kick out by Reigns. And Rollins does something genius that more people need to do in wrestling. Rollins sees that his finisher has not put Roman away. So what does he do? He just finishes him again. Rollins picks up Reigns. Pedigree again. 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins beats Roman Reigns for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. I did not see that coming. I said Seth Rollins was not going to win this match. I said Roman was going to retain, which means I'm wrong. 5-4. Damn. Good. What a great match. A great match. A great end to that match. And then, the good stuff happened. That was a markout moment. Seeing Rollins win the belt was a big markout moment because it was a big shock. The next mark-out moment was when Rollins was in the ring holding the title and Ambrose's music hit. And can I just say, I've been a fan of Dean Ambrose ever since he joined the Shield and ever since the Shield debuted. And Ambrose comes down to the ring. No, he doesn't, sorry. Rollins is looking at the ramp, waiting for him to come down, and I was like, he's going to be behind him, because I wanted Ambrose to win this belt so much. Ambrose comes from behind him. Apparently Ambrose was under the ring, so I have no idea when they put him under the ring. Ambrose comes from under the ring, cracks Rollins with a briefcase, cashes it in, the bell rings, Dirty Deeds, 1, 2, 3, and I marked out. Because Dean Ambrose, they are finally going with Dean Ambrose. We all wanted to see Dean Ambrose as the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and now he is. He beat Seth Rollins, and it's such a good story. Think about it. I've watched this Shield story ever since they imploded, and Rollins always had Ambrose's number. He always beat him. Here, Dean Ambrose won-upped Seth Rollins by taking the biggest victory in his life. His return win, his return WWE World title win over Roman Reigns. He took it from him. What a great story. And if you were along for that story, you probably felt quite emotional. When I saw Dean Ambrose win, I ran around the living room and I jumped on the puffy and I was like, come on, Dean Ambrose. The show ran over, but I was enjoying every moment of it. So Dean Ambrose is your WWE World Heavyweight Champion. It seems like we're going to get the Shield triple threat that we all thought we were. I'm not going to give myself a prediction for the Money in the Bank match. There's little point. Damn. I'm so happy. I am so happy that Dean Ambrose is the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. I am so happy we're getting the Shield triple threat. And it was great because Rollins, they showed you this shot of Reigns on the outside just like, damn, Dean caught us all. And I think we knew it was going to happen. It was just such a great moment. My final score for Money in the Bank 2016. And this is a very tough pay-per-view to call because of the meh. A lot of the meh, but there was some decent stuff. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. I think it actually was better than NXT TakeOver the end. Was it better than Dominion yesterday? Maybe. But what a great pay-per-view, and I'm looking forward to the reign of the lunatic. Thanks for watching, guys. It has been Raw Rosslot. Like, comment, and subscribe for more. I hope you enjoyed Money in the Bank. Tell me your thoughts. Do you think Dean Ambrose is the rightful World Heavyweight Champion? To me, there is no guy in that roster who deserves it more than Dean Ambrose. Thanks for watching, guys.